what inspires you, what triggers you. When I went home and wrote this yodeling song, Yo, it was following an incident in a bar where there was a wedding reception going on, and I was a guest at my friend's wedding reception. There was a band from out of town playing music, and when suddenly I felt a tap on my shoulder, I turned around and there was a guy wobbling, weaving, and he said, "Are you gonna yodel for us tonight?" Whew, bad breath. I said, "Nope, I'm not playing music tonight," and I took off, tried to lose him in the crowd. He came up again. "Are you gonna yodel?" I said, "No." Grabbed a gal and we started dancing. Thought I lost him out on the dance floor. "Are you gonna yodel for us?" I thought, this is an insistent drunk, but he likes my yodeling. Hey, what can I say? I said, "No." I offed him, went to the bathroom. "What? Are you gonna yodel for us?" I said, "No, I'm going home." I went out in the parking lot, got in the car, sat in my car a while. Coast was clear. Faked a getaway. Opened the door to get out. He was hiding behind the other car. "Are you gonna yodel for us tonight?" I said, "You know what? Either I gotta go home or yodel for this guy to get him off my back." So I asked the band if I could get up and do this yodeling song. Not this song, I did another yodeling song for him. So that night I went home and I thought, I gotta write a song about this guy. It was just too crazy of a night. So I wrote the song, never saw this guy again. About 3 months later, I was playing at a state fair, and I was up on stage singing, and during one of my breaks, a TV crew came up to me and asked if they could film a little bit of my show for next year's commercial for this state fair. So I thought, sure, and I said, I'm gonna do this yodeling song. They were setting up, they were ready. I started doing the song, and as I started singing this song that Yo had never heard, I looked across the sea of bodies at the state fair, and coming towards the sound of the yodeling, like a moth being drawn to a flame, no, this can't be. It was Yo. And he got closer and closer, and his steps started picking up, and then he got right up to the stage, and he looked around, he realized there were 2 TV cameras rolling. And then he started tuning into the song, and he realized not only was it yodeling, which he loved, it had his name in it. And he was like all, sat down on a bale of hay right there, and became part of the commercial. His song, he was sitting in the commercial. You'd have thought the guy died and went to heaven right there. A little yodeling song for my man Yo, and I know that old Yo don't know that I wrote this yodeling song for him late one night. He'd heard me yodeling down at Hobo Jim's, and we were hanging out at the Putter Inn. He was begging me to yodel, and oh Yo, he was half tight. I held up my hand, I said, "What's your name?" He said, "Yo." So I asked him again, he said, "Yo" again, so I figured that it was his name. Well, I was having some funny thoughts, but you can't say much when your name is Atz. So I settled back trying to figure out Yo-Yo's game. Now Yo was sailing 3 sheets of the wind with a frozen stare and an ear-to-ear grin. He was begging me to yodel, saying, "Get up there and yodel with a band." It was my good friend Rob with a hired gun, so I stepped up to have a little bit of fun with a lead and the bass and the fiddle and the rhythm man. Now Yo, he staggered up to the stage, he had his angelic smile on his face. That sucker looked like he'd floated up to heaven and he died. I never had a fan quite like Yo before. He stood there mesmerized on the floor, started clapping and stomping when he heard my yodeling cry. Yo, this yodeling song's for you, no matter where you go, no matter what you do. Remember that time spent yodeling, is time well spent. I've never had me a fan club before, but Yo, don't you know one thing's for sure? If I do, I'll make you my fan club president. And I said, Yo, I said, Yo, I said, Yo, a song for you. And I said, Yo, I said, Yo, songs for you. When I got through, I said, "There you go, Yo." He was still smiling. His eyes were closed. I thought I was going to get away from him. But then he opened them wide and said, "I want to hear some more." I was wearing out my welcome and I was running out of time, but I decided that I'd yodel up another line because I thought it was the only way that I'd ever get yo off the floor. Then suddenly I realized why you liked my yodeling. It was no surprise, because every time I yodeled I was saying yo's name. Young lady sitting there with the baseball cap on. What? Did you get it? Yo name? You get it? Okay. If she got it, it's a good chance everybody got it. What's your name? Lindsay. Well, then I got to thinking probably wouldn't work too well. Met it back to downright sound like hell. If you ever try to yodel using anybody else's name, try Lindsay. Lindsay, Lindsay, but it just don't work. In this hole I grew up, no matter where I go. One thing I've learned, I finally know, I'll never yodel again if there's any crazy fan in the audience named Yo. Yo, these yodeling songs for you, no matter where you go, no matter what you do. Remember that time spent yo, it was time well spent. Never had me a fan club before, but yo, don't you know one thing's for sure, if I do, I'll make you my fan club president. And I said yo, I said yo, I said yo, don't you know what's the yodeling song for you? And I said yo, I said yo, song for you. And I said yo, oh my man Yo, wherever he may be. Up in the Fox River Valley, where I kind of claim to have grown up, my childhood wasn't all idyllic. It was a perfect childhood. It was the best childhood I could have had. And it was dysfunctional as hell. It was crazy. It was at times psychologically, emotionally, and physically abusive. So I spent the first 30, 40 years of my life pissing and moaning. Did we say that on campus? I don't know. Feeling sorry for myself. Then I decided, you know what, those were the cards I got dealt. Now what can I do with that hand I got dealt? Turn it around, learn to thank my mom and dad for everything about me. Well, I spent a lot of time in my younger years up in the Fox River Valley by myself with the cows and the horses and nature, kind of getting an idea of who I was, getting some feedback on who I was besides from my dad. So I still go there. You come up and visit, first thing I'll do is we'll saddle up and I'll take you there. I sat one day watching the Sheep River rolling down from the mountains out of the glacier. And as I sat there watching that river, feeling like the indigenous people before me who used to do that very thing, sit and watch a campfire. Sit and watch the river, sit and watch the clouds, sit and watch the clouds dancing in the water. Those were the multimedia shows of yesteryear. And I wondered if this river was running away from the glacier or if it was running towards the ocean. And then I heard the river say to me, "Hey, Kilcher, are you running away when you come up here? Or are you running home?" That was a pretty deep question. I sat and pondered a while, and the river and I had a most wonderful conversation. I kept looking over my shoulder to make sure none of my macho cowboy friends saw me sitting there talking to the water.